Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Colette McLeod. I am the casual clinician. I often describe myself as clinically trained, intuition powered, and spirit led. I've got over 10 years in the field as a mental health counselor. I have done a number of facilitations and conversations and presentation, keynotes, and all of that, really centered around healing perspectives really centered around healing perspectives. I have a tendency to do what scares me. And so this is a part of how this channel came to be. There's folks who have attended groups, workshops, and conversations that I just tend to have with people who have encouraged me to just get out there and spread the word, even for people who maybe aren't directly in my sphere. And as much as I enjoy doing things in person, and even in virtual settings that's more intimate, the idea of actually having a channel, having conversations, has not been a really gung-ho joyous, let me go and do this thing. And we need as much good, as much healing perspective in the world as possible. And so I'm here. And so I'm here. I am not certain how long I'll have the channel going or if there's any particular cadence and how I plan to release information, but I'm here for the time that I'm here, and I'm really looking forward to being able to just share some perspectives in a way that can really support the healing of others. For today, my inaugural YouTube debut, I actually wanted to talk about when our beliefs, our values, and our actions don't align. We are not that far away from the results of the election. And no matter where people sit on the divides, there are more than two. No matter where people sit on the divides, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of emotions that's coming up. I'm seeing it with some of the clients that I'm working with. I'm seeing it just in my day-to-day life, and I've been experiencing it myself as well. And so just know this conversation is really not centered around the election, and I think that this conversation can help provide some clarity for folks who maybe have some questions around what's happening and why it's happening. So let's talk about when our beliefs, our values, and our actions don't align. When we have certain beliefs and we have certain values that's attached to those beliefs, and our actions don't line up, we can become very uncomfortable. When we have a belief around something and certain values attached to that belief, and then we do something that is not in alignment with what we believe and what we value, we can become very uncomfortable. That discomfort from that process is called cognitive dissonance. For my psychology folks or my folks who like to look at psychological things, that is a familiar term. For people who may not be familiar, cognitive dissonance is when you think, feel, believe, value one thing and your actions do not align. A part of the impact of cognitive dissonance is it causes anxiety. I mentioned the discomfort. Cognitive dissonance also causes feelings of guilt. Depending on how strongly you're feeling it, it can cause feelings of shame, and that is different. Cognitive dissonance can also just really create this lack of clarity and this sense of confusion in your life because what you believe and value is not aligning with what you're actually doing. Some of the behaviors that go along with cognitive dissonance is rejecting or avoiding conflicting information. So if I already know on some level that my beliefs and values are not lining up with my actions, the idea of taking in information that's going to increase or intensify that conflict is not appealing, right? I can also devalue opposing information. I could be closed off to receiving feedback and information from other people. And I may even go to the extent of collecting evidence and information that just demonstrates my goals, my values, my beliefs, or whatever it is that I want to be true. From what I'm saying already, just think about what that means for you in your life. Think about what that means for you within your family. And think about what that means in our collective society. If feelings of my beliefs and values aren't matching up with my actions, and I'm uncomfortable to a certain extent, conscious or not, and I have these behaviors of rejecting or avoiding conflicting information because I am not together myself. Think about what that means for you, for your family, for the collective society. One extreme example of cognitive dissonance can be found in the history of this very country. It takes a severe ability of cognitive dissonance, of managing discomfort that comes from conflicting beliefs and values with actions, for folks to see a person hanging in a tree and to be at a picnic and celebrating, to pose for pictures, to have your children around it. It is a significant example. I understand that. And it's a wonderful example of cognitive dissonance and just how extreme that it can get. It can get so extreme that folks who express they have beliefs and values around family and love and country and protecting their children can also participate in those things. When it comes to our day to day lives, there could be cognitive dissonance that's coming up because perhaps we have a belief in honesty. Perhaps we have a belief around, you know, prioritizing family and prioritizing, the people in our lives who love us. But maybe our actions include telling lies. Maybe our actions are actually prioritizing work, not family. That can create cognitive dissonance where we are just really misaligned with what we believe and what we place value on and what we're actually doing. That is a part of how we get to where we are today. As humans, we have such a capacity for that. As humans, we have such a capacity to talk about what we believe and value and then to do something that is not aligned with it. And the impact of that tends to be an increase in conflict, and not just with others and with the world and with people who seemingly have differing beliefs, but even increased conflict within yourself, even increased conflict within yourself. The impact of it makes your world small. From a place of cognitive dissonance, if I'm having to keep certain information away from me, my world is going to get smaller. The people that I'm around is going to get smaller and tighter. The impact of cognitive dissonance is it supports willful ignorance. And I'm not talking about just unawareness, right? We all have a level of that in different aspects of life. Cognitive dissonance, and if we don't actively work toward becoming fully conscious in our lives and in having introspective and reflective practices that support looking inward and being clear with ourselves about our beliefs and our values, what's a priority, and how our actions either support or don't support those. If we don't do that, it supports willful ignorance and it supports us living out of alignment, which is never comfortable for us. Like I said before, that increases our own feelings of anxiety and shame. It can have people hypervigilant and feeling on edge. And we can make it seem like the hypervigilance and feeling on edge is only coming from outside of us. But oftentimes we are ground zero. We are patient zero. So when it comes to cognitive dissonance, there's a few different things that you can do because again, we all have the capacity to be out of alignment with our beliefs, values, and our actions. To be able to examine and course correct those in your life, get clear on your beliefs and get clear about the value that you place upon them. We can say that we believe A, B, and C to the same degree and the same extent, but the truth of the matter is everything does not hold the same weight. Everything is not on the same level. And we know that when those three beliefs within one situation must be prioritized. I can say that I hold value and belief in being able to have steady and secure income so that I can take care of my family because my family is also a priority for me. But when certain situations align and the decision is yes, secure income and my family are two very important values for me. And my ability to take care of them and to look after these two pieces are very important to me. But if a situation comes up, and in some ways it's pitting the value of a secure dollar and the value of my love for my family, I am going to choose one of them. So, what is it that you would choose? How can you look at your beliefs and understand what value you place upon them and how they truly get prioritized? When you get clear on that, you can reflect on those beliefs, reflect on those values. Do they match your actions? If I say family is a huge priority for me or is a really important value for me, yet the decisions that I make often take me away from my family and the connections there that may not be in alignment. So when you get clear on what those beliefs and those values are and how you prioritize them, reflect on if your behaviors, if your actions actually line up. Sometimes they don't align because we're adopting beliefs and values that we really didn't intentionally choose. They were inherited or gifted to us. And so we still say these things are values and beliefs of ours, but our actions don't align because deep down we truly believe and value something else. Be open to discovering that as well. Every single one of us inherits values and beliefs from our guardians, our parents, the people in our upbringing. We also have the responsibility and the ability to intentionally look at what it is that we inherited and choose what gets to stay and what gets to go. We get to look at other information we've gathered from the world and our own life experiences and see if there maybe was something that we did not inherit that we want to add in. The last parts that I'll say when it comes to being able to address cognitive dissonance, being able to address when your beliefs and values and actions don't align, is ask people for feedback, explore contradictory information, Be open to hearing something that's different and or that makes you uncomfortable. Just be open to it. And that means being able to manage the discomfort that comes up around it. Managing the discomfort that comes up around it allows you to continue to explore it. And please recognize exploring it and being open to these things is not centered around changing your mind. It's simply centered around gathering more information so that you can continue to make an informed decision. Those are some of the tips that I would give when it comes to recognizing if your beliefs, values, and actions don't align. Feel free to check out and look up some more information on cognitive dissonance. I definitely invite you to just see how this shows up for you in your life and then following those tips to get aligned. That'll deepen your connection to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. It's a gift when we can be really clear with ourselves and in turn be clear with others. Let me know what you think in the comments.